Welcome to our time together today. 5 lies that keep you stuck on the weight loss roller coaster and the truth that will set you free. There is so much noise and so much confusion in the world coming from all sides, right? Should we eat this? Should we eat that? Well, should we go to a doctor? Should we work out? So many things. Lots of things work temporarily and then they don't work. And then we're left looking for something else. And it's very, very frustrating. As we get started, the next thing I'm going to do is share a little bit about my story, but I want you to know that there's a question and answer box. And in the chat, you can type any question and I will answer it. I will stay as long as needed to answer all the questions after the presentation. So make sure and drop your questions because I want to answer them. All right. Hang on just a second. There we go. All right, many of you know me already or have heard a little bit about my story, but it is critical that I share. I'm Christy McCammon, and I spent most of my life overweight and food obsessed. And I could not figure out how to solve that. Is there anyone here that is desperate to lose weight or wanting to figure out your food struggle? Anyone at all? I get it, right? We want to figure out this struggle. Losing weight and getting food noise quiet and solving this problem once and for all. And we've tried a lot. So I loved the Lord. I loved my family, but I couldn't stop eating. And I was eating myself into an early grave, an early exit of my family, I felt like. And I couldn't stop. My weight was increasing and my food was increasing. And I kept trying different plans and I was absolutely desperate, hopeless, and ashamed. And I felt like there was so much noise and chaos, I had to strip it down to what God said. What does God say about weight and food and body image and dieting? Clearly, He has something to say on it. So I don't know about you, but I had never truly invited God into my weight loss struggle. Maybe I was thought, oh, deliver me, Lord. And then that was as far as it ever went. But I knew that God had created amazingly delicious, beautiful food, and He designed us to need it and to want it. So, what's the truth? So, I prayed a desperate prayer, surrendered to Him, and everything changed. I let go of all the dieting, the moderation, the noise of the world, and I started trusting Him with my food and weight journey and allowing Him to be the source of my strength because my willpower and my self control is not so great. So I lost 100 pounds in 10 months and I've kept that off for 6 years now. Whoops, sorry about that. While the weight loss is awesome, it's great, right? I'm doing things I never thought I would dare to dream to do and feeling free. But the quiet, calm brain that I have, that is worth even more than the weight loss. I want you to take a look at this. This is how I felt. That was my food addicted brain. I was desperate, exhausted, trapped, stifled, hopeless, isolated, food obsessed, addicted, ashamed, overweight, felt chaos, fearful, inadequate, guilty, defeated, hungry, lost, searching, bondage, and mastered. That is how I felt. And once I unbinged and allowed the Lord to lead and eating the way that I knew that He wanted me to eat and surrendering to His will, not my will, my brain is what you see on the right: calm, clear headed, surrendered, and free. Do any of those words on the left resonate with you? Do you feel like your head is full of all of those chaotic, negative words in space? I actually work with a lot of women who don't even necessarily have a weight problem, but they want that noise to stop and they want those mental gymnastics to stop. So that free brain is awesome. And the weight loss is awesome too. So this session is for those who feel controlled by food, especially sugar and junk foods. And your story may relate to mine in some way, or it might be entirely different, but I want to assure you that you belong here, right? So those who feel controlled by junk, especially, or by food, especially sugar and junk foods, Those who are tired of losing the same 10 pounds over and over again, or 100 pounds and regaining, whatever that number is, it is exhausting and frustrating. And it's for those who want the freedom to fully live out God's plan for your life. If that's you, let's jump into the 5 lies that keep you trapped and the truth that sets you free. So, lie number 1, God doesn't care about my weight loss journey. That's what social media says. That's what people say to me all the time. Don't you think God's too busy with more important things? Well, I think whether we're brave enough to say it or not, many of us live as if that is true, that he doesn't care and he's not involved. We search for diet experts, Google, now AI, instead of going to the source of all wisdom and all truth. We know that God cares about our hearts, but do we trust him enough to give us wisdom and guidance to care for our bodies? So that's lie number 1. The truth is, Jesus wants to walk right beside you on this food journey. The God who created you and who created the food that we eat is ready and willing to help you. He knows the number of hair on our heads. The number of hairs on all of our heads. He most definitely cares about our health and our mental peace. So Matthew 11:28-30, come to me, all who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. How many of you feel weary of this burden you're carrying, trying to fix this problem all on your own? I know I was exhausted, but Jesus says, come to him and let him teach us. He wants to yoke together with us, walking side by side on all parts of our life, including our weight loss journey. The God who created us is ready and able to guide us through this weight loss journey with joy and peace. Joy and peace. We don't have to struggle under the weight of the burden any longer. Okay. Lie number 2. Weight loss is all about finding the right diet. That is a lie. How many diets have you tried in the past? Type in the chat. How many diets do you think you've tried in the past? I, at one point, started adding it up and realizing it was a lot. Diet, think of exercise plans, new books, new attempts at same old places. So for years, I bought into this lie. I thought the key to unlocking my weight loss was getting on the right diet plan, getting the right amount of calories, right amount of macros, or doing the right kind of exercise. Anytime I would start a new diet program, I would be so optimistic because I thought this was the program that was going to be the perfect thing. But every time I was wrong. I didn't need another diet program. I needed a heart change. So that's lie number 2. But the truth is, weight loss is about surrendering to God and putting him back in the high place of our life. So in order to lose the weight, I had to stop worshiping food, going to food for comfort, and eating addictively. I had to surrender to God. Eating healthy is simple. So the way we eat at Life Unbinged is we have a food plan. We eat real whole food, protein, vegetables, fruit, fat, and grain every day. That's not the hard part. The hard part's learning to let go of the idolatry of food. When we have big, uncomfortable emotions, we have to turn to God to worship him instead of taking comfort in worshiping food, in a sense. The real work is the heart work, and the heart work can only be done by getting into the word daily. And so that is a real important part of what we do around here. Psalm 34:8, taste and see that the Lord is good. Blessed is the one who takes refuge in him. This is my theme verse. God invites us to taste and see that he's good. Happy is the one who takes refuge in him. What do you think about when you think about taking refuge in God? I picture myself running to a strong tower, completely protected by the stresses of life, comforted, cared for, provided for. Over and over in my life, I'm reminded that God is truly enough for me, and I don't need to turn to food to soothe my emotions or handle the stresses of life. Okay, lie number 3. In order to be a good Christian, I have to eat all things in moderation. Okay, read that. in order to be a good Christian, I have to eat all things in moderation. That is not a truth. It's a lie. Share in the comments if you've ever heard this from other well-meaning Christians. I've had people say this to me a lot. Well, you should be able to eat. You should have cake or you should have ice cream. Well, let's delve into that a little bit. So I'll admit that this lie tripped me up for a lot of years. I thought that since self-control was a fruit of the spirit, I should be able to have it and control my eating. What I didn't understand at the time was that for my brain, processed sugar and flour were not things to be managed. They were foods that instantly lit up my addictive pathways, my brain, and caused me to want more, 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 and more. No one expects an alcoholic to just manage their drinking or a drug addict to just use harmful substances now and then on the weekends or moderately. Food addiction is just as real and can be just as damaging. But as food addicts, we can't just stop eating, right? We need to eat. And God gave us amazing, delicious, wonderful food. But there are certain things that would be best avoided. And that's where we can have food boundaries. There is plenty in the boundaries that God gave us. So that's the lie. Now, the truth is, food boundaries are a gift from God meant to help us live an abundant life. So, food boundaries were my rescue boat so many years ago. I had to eat to live, but I don't have to eat sugar, flour, processed food. I enjoy 3 abundantly delicious meals every day, weighed, measured, so I know I'm getting enough, all the nutrition I need, and then I'm free to live life in between without all the food noise. And because God is the foundation of my life and my food program, I have the boundary of being in the Word of God every single day. So the food boundaries are 3 meals a day of real, whole food: protein, vegetables, fruit, fat, greens, weighed and measured portions, and most importantly, time with God. Those are the key to lasting peace and freedom. 1 Corinthians 6:12, everything is permissible for me, but not everything is beneficial. Everything is permissible for me, but I will not be mastered by anything. I don't know about you, but I certainly felt mastered by food. I felt controlled. I felt trapped. I felt bound by food, particularly sweet and processed foods. So if you feel like you've been mastered by food, I want to encourage you to consider adopting food boundaries to protect, to guide, great guardrails. Think about how good it would feel if you could honestly say, everything I'm eating is beneficial to me. Everything I eat is glorifying to God and healthy for my body. That's the gift that comes from food boundaries. Lie number 4, and I love this one because I get it a lot. If I deny myself the food I crave, I'll be miserable. Well, I am a living testimony to tell you right now that that is not a truth. I have more joy and more freedom than I've ever had in my life. And I have boundaries and I keep certain things out. But I want you to type in the comments, what percent of your day is consumed with food noise or food thoughts? What percent of your free thoughts? How often of time is your free thoughts taken up with what I'm going to eat, when I'm going to eat it, how much should I eat? Did I eat too much? Where am I going to get it? How am I going to get more? Where am I going to hide it? What am I going to do tomorrow? Think about your brain and your thoughts and what percentage is consumed with food noise, food thoughts. Type in the chats. So many of us have spent years trapped in the chains of sugar addiction, food obsession, and those constant cravings and battling and white knuckling. So newsflash, we're already miserable. It already feels miserable fighting and trying to figure it all out. It's miserable being overweight, tired, and constantly thinking about food and how to solve the food problem. So I was miserable for years, feeling like I was a failure because I couldn't control my weight and my eating. Especially as a Christian, I felt like, gosh, if I really love the Lord, I should be able to stop eating, and I couldn't. So I was already miserable. Now I am free. Now I am free, and it feels incredible. So the truth is, eliminating triggering foods like sugar and flour is the pathway to freedom from food obsession. So, yes, when we eliminate sugar and flour processed foods, we often go through a detox period, and it can be challenging to learn new skills and build new habits around food, but it's work worth doing. So, why do we need to eliminate those triggering foods? Well, there's a saying that we love around here: none is easier than some. Some or one lights up my brain and says, more, please, more, please, more, please, more, please. None doesn't do that. None just is a boundary. And there's plenty in the boundaries, right? We get a lot of great stuff. God created a lot of amazing, delicious food. So when we consume foods that trigger cravings and overeating, our brain's constantly asking for more, 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 more. And even a little can trigger cravings and cause us to completely derail and start binging or overeating again. When we eliminate them completely, the food noise pretty quickly quiets down and goes away completely. We are then free to live in the world without constantly feeling out of control around food. Eliminating those triggering foods actually brings us so much clarity, so much freedom, and so much joy. So John 10:10, the thief only comes to steal and kill and destroy. I came that they may have life and have it abundantly. So I want us all to remember that what we're talking about here isn't just a diet or a food plan. It's heart work, because we have an enemy that's out to steal and kill and destroy the life that God has given to us. Satan wants nothing more than to keep us trapped in the cycle of food addiction and dieting, because when we are preoccupied with food, we're not living out the Christian message and hope in every part of our lives. Jesus came so that we would live abundantly. And remember, he wants to walk right beside us on this journey because he cares about our weight loss struggles and that thorn in our side. Lie number 5, I don't need community. I can handle this on my own. I believe that. I did not want a community. I did not want people holding me accountable. I didn't want any of that. I thought, I'm just going to handle this on my own. And a lot of us have spent years hiding. We've been hiding our eating from those closest to us. We think we aren't worthy to be seen and known because of the huge cloud of shame that hangs over us in our eating habits and quite possibly our weight. I hear from so many women who start this program and confess that they didn't even tell their family or friends because they didn't want anyone to know if they failed again. A lot of us fear that failure. That's the number one reason people are afraid to start, because they don't want to fail at something else. But this is different. But we weren't meant to carry this kind of shame or fear with us. It's not the abundant life God has called us to. So that's the lie. The truth is, we were created to thrive in community with those who understand us, support us, and pray for us. Over and over in the Bible, we are told to pray for one another, encourage one another, support one another, and bear one another's burdens. And if you struggle with any kind of overeating, sugar addiction, sugar cravings, food obsession, then you need people who can support you on that journey. We need people who can support us in that part of our lives too. And we need people who can pray for us and offer godly wisdom. Proverbs 13:20, he who walks with the wise will become wise, but the companion of fools will be destroyed. For so many years, I got all my dieting advice from worldly sources, and none of it ever got to the heart of what I needed. It wasn't until I was supported by Christian sisters who could understand my struggles and go with me to the Word of God that I could finally start living this transformation. So in a minute, I'm going to share with you some tips for you to put into immediate practice. Okay. We're going to go through some tips that right away you can start putting into practice. But I first want you to know I'm not the only one who has felt this way. And I would just want to introduce you to 3 sisters who found the same freedom walking in community with other people. But then I'm going to share the tips. But I want to introduce Cindy to you. She's one of our sweet sisters who shows up every week, participates in our community, and is an encouragement to all of us. She released 130 pounds in the 60. She did a 60-day surrender, lost 31 pounds in that 60 days. Easily, because when we let go and start surrendering, everything changes. She's now in maintenance at the lower end of her weight range. all because she said yes. And she says she cannot praise and thank God enough for the program and all the support. All right. And then Kelly has lost 140 pounds. Now, again, I have shared with you at the beginning, I work with some people who only have 10 pounds to lose and they lose it. I work with some people who come from big numbers, little numbers. It doesn't matter. Some people just need to clear the brain fog and start surrendering to God and allowing Him to lead in this area of food. So Kelly says, I took a leap of faith and started the 60-day journey to surrender, and I could not have anticipated all that I would learn when humbling myself before God and others, admitting this addiction, and trusting God each day to supply all of my physical and emotional needs. 140 pounds down and counting. And that's what she says. This is the heart of life on binge, is turning to God instead of going to the food for comfort and support. And it takes time to learn to do that. And then this is Catherine. Catherine is one of our amazing Life on Binge coaches. And she lost 80 pounds in 9 months following the food plan. And she's been maintaining her weight loss for 6 years, almost about the same time as I have. The tools Christy teaches us in the 60-day course are the foundation for true freedom. I'm more confident, peaceful, and more joyful now. My whole life is unbinged. That's the coolest part, because sometimes we start something wanting to just lose weight and we realize there's so much more going on than just the weight. And so that's what our community is all about. So now we're going to put it into practice. I'm going to give you some tips, and I want y'all to put some of this into practice. And in a minute, I'm going to have you put in the chat one thing you're going to commit to this week, because you can start unbinging your life today. Okay. Number 1, invite God into your food choices. Make it a priority to pray for His wisdom and guidance regarding your food. I always say the prayer, God, let everything I eat today be good for my body and pleasing to you. Help me surrender my will and my way to you. Just that simple prayer, prayed daily, will have a profound impact on your daily food choices. Okay? So you can write these down, invite God into your food choices. Okay? Number 2, make small commitments. We often think that we have to make huge changes all at once in order to get results. That's not true. Some of us are thinking about the food boundaries I shared, and maybe you were overwhelmed and thought, oh no. But I have good news. Every step you take towards surrendering to God brings blessings, and you can make small, meaningful changes that add up. Maybe commit to a short period of time with no sugar in your diet. Perhaps you want to commit to eating only at mealtime. Or maybe you want to say, I'm not going to eat after 7 o'clock at night. Okay? You have permission to start small. Don't feel like you have to conquer the world today. Start small. None of us can do this perfectly this side of heaven. So start where you are and just do the next right thing. Okay, number 3, another thing you can do is to unbinge your pantry and your fridge. Okay, this just means giving your kitchen a healthy food overhaul. Throw out or donate any foods you know are not good for you, and then stock up on fresh fruits and veggies. Make them pretty. Don't put them in the veggie drawer. Get some pretty bins so you see them when you open the refrigerator. We see the pretty cucumbers or tomatoes or your favorite things, right? Let's pick our favorites. And it's okay if you only have a few favorite fruit and vegetables, pick them and eat them. So often we reach for junk foods because they're convenient, they're easy, but if the healthier foods are the easy foods, we're in a much better place to make really good choices. Okay, number 4, plan for success. Sugar and flour foods are everywhere. Can we say that? Everywhere? Say that in your head. They're everywhere. If we don't have a plan for what we're going to eat and when we're going to eat it, it's easy for us to fall back into old habits. Very easy. Meal planning doesn't have to be complicated. Just write out a list of the meals you want to make this week, go shopping, or put in a curbside grocery order. I always suggest make larger meals so you can have the leftovers for lunches, healthy foods all week long. You can follow me on Facebook if you don't already, or Instagram or YouTube, right on my website, lifeunbinged.com, and sign up for my emails because I send tips, truth, and recipes. So that way you have constant flooding of ideas and help. And the last one is taking deep breaths throughout your day. So this sounds silly, right? Just take deep breaths. But we have to breathe anyway. We're breathing throughout the day anyway, right? So we might as well make it intentional. Take a deep breath right now. You breathed that breath anyway. Make it intentional and make it feel like it counts. That's really helpful. And we don't need to try and do this all alone. We need community, and we're here to support and cheer you on as God leads you on the right path for you. So, Life Unbinged is not about dieting, it's about being transformed from the inside out. So, come and join us, and you are welcome here. So, maybe you're ready for something more. And if so, I want to invite you to join our upcoming 60-day Journey to Surrender course. This course and group is an in-depth study of what it means to surrender your food to God and live a sugar-free life and draw on His strength and have accountability and support. And so I want to share with you what's included in that. And it's 8 weeks of video modules, 60 days, 8 weeks, a weekly Zoom meeting together. We get together and we watch and have time together and watch the videos together. Daily accountability and support. It's high level program, a high level touch for a high level problem. This is a problem that's been possibly plaguing you all of your life. It was for me, and I needed to get it solved. And so this 8 weeks of time gets food in its rightful place. Also comes with a complete eating guide, menu planner, a whole course workbook, action steps, journal prompts, devotionals, private Facebook group for support and accountability. And then live monthly coaching together on Zoom also. There's a whole bunch of bonuses. I'll just tell you a few. Weight loss trackers, because you will lose weight and it's fun to track. A restaurant guide. You're going to go out to eat. You're going to want to know how to eat, what to eat. So we created a restaurant guide with 50 restaurants and 10 different cuisines. So that way, wherever you're going, you can open it up, open it on your phone, open it in front of you, and look and say, okay, this is what I'm going to order. A 2-week meal plan and recipes. 2 weeks of full meal planning, recipes, and grocery lists laid out for you to make it simple and to start building the habits and getting into preparing your food. And let me tell you about the small groups that we have. We have a weekly meeting at the same time every week. We do them on Thursdays. We have availability in the morning group, the evening group, afternoon. We watch the videos together. You have time to share, ask questions, get full attentive coaching. 2-hour meetings each week led by one of the Life on Binge coaches. We walk together on this journey to surrender. And then I have to tell you, because I'm really excited about this, we added a webinar bonus. So if you are watching this and if you sign up by midnight on Friday, May 16th, you will get a free gift in the mail, a 100-day food journal where you can write out your food. It has trackers, all sorts of things, a Life on Binge pen, and a sticker set for water bottles, computers, whatever you want it. You'll get that in the mail. And you also get a full week of one-to-one coaching with me. I've walked this path. I know this path, and it's a beautiful path, and it can be difficult at the beginning, but I know that everybody who walks it and commits to it gets to a place on the other side of surrender, and it's unmatched to anything else. So I'm going to show you the investment options. I'm going to open it up for questions soon, okay? But I want to show you the investment options and the most popular also. But yeah, all the options come with the 60-day surrender course, which is 8 weeks of easy to digest videos and action steps for immediate results and transformation, things that you can immediately put into practice. All the options come with that. So we have our Premier, which is the self-paced. If you're a self-starter and you want to do it on your own, you get the course, get the videos, the workbook, the devotion, live monthly group coaching, eating guide, meal plan, recipes, all the bonus, the one-to-one with myself, the gift in the mail, all of that. The Plus is the most popular, and that one has a payment plan. That one is the course, the group, live monthly coaching, workbook, eating guide, meal plan, recipes, the private small group support. And that's where the magic really happens with the weekly Zoom meetings. And we're starting on Monday, which is May 19th. We're starting next week on Monday is when we start together as a group. And the weekly Zooms start on Thursday. But that one has the payment plan also. And then there's the premium. If there's anyone who wants to have all of that, the course, the small group, weekly meetings, and one-to-one coaching with me, that's perfectly fine as well. Our most popular is the middle plus one that has the payment plan as well and has the small group meetings that people get to get together, watch the videos, and work through the action steps and the hard work that gets us to the other side of surrender. So we never have to look back and we never have to plan another diet again, because it's not a diet. We're eating these amazing, delicious, wonderful foods that God gave us. So I want to, before I open up for questions, I want to show you this picture because this is me, 100 pounds heavier in the one on the left, 100 pounds lighter on the one on the right. I don't show my pictures to say, look at me, look how great I've done. I only share because God turned my mess, the mess of trying to do this on my own my whole life, the mess of eating all the time and not being able to stop and trying to moderate and all those lies that we just talked about. He turned my mess into a message of hope and joy and freedom, and women are being set free. So I have no reason not to share because I'm here to give you hope and truth that there is a way out of this weight loss roller coaster. We can get off. We can get off. So now I'm going to open it up for questions. And I am going to stop my screen share so you can see me and I can see some of you. I can see the questions anyway. All right. All right. So I'm going to open up the Q&A box. Okay, here we go. Start putting in your questions. Carrie Ann and Catherine are sending me questions that people have put in the chat because I'm here to answer them, and I will stay as long as you have questions. So first one, I've done so many of these Christian programs and all I get is less money in my checkbook. Is it me setting up from the beginning for failure? Okay. I get it. I was in the same spot. I understand. And I even said, I'm not spending another penny on anything else. I'm just not. And then I felt the Lord prompting. And I always tell people, pray about it. Ask the Lord, because what we do here is very, very different. It is not a diet plan that, oh, here, follow this diet. No, it is, let's see what God has to say. And we have put together an incredible Bible study, scripture digging and growing, and assignments and action steps and high level support with coaches weekly. This is not just try it out. This is something that when you do, you will have success. And I always just say, trust the process, trust the process. But I understand, I get that completely. But what I often will ask people too is, can you afford to be in the same position you are now in a year from now? Can you afford not to get this fixed? And I hate to say it, but I've talked to a lot of people who've tried the weight loss shots, who are afraid of them and who are having very ill effects of them, and have spent $400 a month, $500 a month. When they first came out, they were $800. And they were willing to try that. So I want you to pray about it, because I do believe that the Lord will nudge in whatever direction he feels is best. All right. Maria says, what does going to God daily look like? Is it reading and journaling? Great question. Great question. What we do is teach the process of surrendering. And there are 10 tools of surrender. And we walk through all those 10 tools and what it looks like: worshiping, our posture, praying, seeking others, lots of different things. And so what we walk through is the food plan. There is a food plan. We need a food plan, right? Because God created really great food, and he created taste buds, and he created desires for us to eat, right? So we need to eat, and we can enjoy it. We can enjoy amazing, delicious, wonderful, incredible food. So submitting that to him, getting food in its rightful place, and then discovering why we turn to food and put food in the high place to begin with. And so there is scripture reading each week. You can pick where you want that to be. We also have journaling prompts and specific scripture to go through each week. All right. When we are on Zoom for coaching, are we on video like the small groups, or is it like this meeting? No, the Zoom small group, you are on video. It is total connection together, which sometimes we don't want, but we need. We need. And we know that. And as your coaches, we know that we need to be connecting with each other and have some accountability and support. So it is not like this meeting. You actually will be on Zoom. Okay. Do you find that the plan still, oh, I love this question, that still works for those who've had bariatric surgery? It works beautifully. We have so many women in our group who actually have had bariatric surgery, and they do very well. So our typical meal plan is 3 meals a day of measured amounts of protein, vegetables, fruit, fat, and grain. But for those who've had bariatric surgery or a medical issue, that can be 4 meals or 5 meals. And we have very specific plan that you will have access to right away. So if you think I have to eat 5 small meals a day, that's great. It's laid out, it's measured, it's delicious, it's wonderful, great, amazing food that God gave us. All right. Oh, this is a good one too. It's hard to unbinge pantry and fridge when I have a teen son and a hubby that wants to eat all the junk. Thoughts? Yes, because I had that too. I do have that. Um, I have a lot of kids. I have 5 kids. And when I first started eating this way, I was trying to figure out, okay, no, none of that in the house. And then there was this tension, and I realized I had to make some choices for myself. So you're right. You probably can't go in and unbinge, wipe everything out, donate all that stuff. You can't. But you can have bins in your pantry for your teens that you say, hey, can you keep that kind of stuff here so I don't have to see it? That can be a way. You can say, I don't want to have to see it. You can keep pretty bins, your own stuff, so you can see this is my food. Perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. And you know what? I told my kids, I have a struggle and I need to stop eating these things because they master me and I don't want that in my life. And each person's going to ultimately have to make those decisions for themselves, even teens and husbands. But we have to do what God is calling us to do. And so there are ways. In fact, I have a whole section on how to, one of the whole modules is how to live sugar-free in a sugar-obsessed world, right? How do we do that? And I jump right into that. At the beginning, one of our first videos. What time do the weekly meetings meet? Are they recorded or is it private? Okay, great question. The meetings are on Thursdays. So when you sign up for the small group, you will see the time options and you get to pick Thursday mornings or Thursday evenings. They're ready to go. Now, they are not recorded, and let me tell you why. You get the whole course. You're going to get the whole course that you can watch self-paced anytime. It's yours. You get that. But a lot of times we get that and then we don't watch it. That's why the small group is really beneficial, because we do it together as a group. So let's just say you have to miss week 3. That's okay. You jump in. It's right on my website, hosted right there. You jump in, you watch week 3 and do the action step on your own, and then you pick back up the next week. During the meetings, it is very vulnerable. There are times where it's hard. We're dealing with hard stuff, trying to figure out how to get food in its rightful place, right? So we don't record that conversation part, but you have the full course. So you can watch that if you had to miss a week. Um, all right. Okay, good question. I participated in Gwen Shamblin's program years ago. It's different in that hunger and fullness were cues to eat and stop eating. Do you agree that physiology hunger is a key? No, I have to say no, and I'll tell you why. I think if we want to go back even 100 years ago, eating hunger and fullness, there was a bit more of that availability. Now, when we see the way food is and the way food is treated, and if we start eating processed donuts, okay, I'm not going to start describing foods, but a very processed sugary food, we're not going to feel full from that. We're just not, because it floods to our bloodstream and it creates this insulin rush and then a dip and then a more, and it's not the way it should be. So the reason we weigh and measure our food, and the food plan is so incredibly successful because it's the right amount to keep us satiated up until we're ready to eat again. So we're not hungry throughout the day. We eat 3 times a day, or if we need to eat more because of medical reasons, like I said, is fine. But we have set times that we're trying to eat, and we live life in between. If intuitive eating, hunger, full, worked, we would not have the society that we have. I would not have been in the issue and the position and the weight that I was, because I would have listened to my hunger and listened to my fullness. So we have to eat according to what our body needs, and we can know that with our food plan. How do you keep the weight off once you reach your healthy weight goal? How do you avoid the weight creep? Great question. So Catherine actually is our maintenance specialist, and we have this entire maintenance plan that once we lose the weight, we start adding in food and we start monitoring our weight, and you walk right alongside us. This is not a one and done. We are with you long term. The Facebook group indefinitely and the live monthly coaching long term, we're together. There is no, okay, lose the weight, bye-bye. No, 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 no. We're together. There's no additional. You just come and we just keep up with that. So it's eating well, eating the same way you were when you lost the weight. Because if we start eating differently now that we've lost the weight, we're going to gain the weight. That's just the way it's going to work. And that's why that happens, because it's a diet. This is not a diet. This is an incredible food plan of eating God's way, whole, real, healthy food, great food. If you have an aversion to a certain food or an allergy, you don't have to eat it. There's no requirement of, oh, you must eat avocados or something. No, but if that's one that you like, yes, that's part of the food plan. Perfectly fine. So avoiding the weight creep is sticking to the meal plan, slowly adding maintenance adds, 1 a week, keeping an eye on weight, and then eventually it settles, and that is your measured portions that you continue to eat. Let's see. Do you go over exactly what we eat for all 3 meals? Yes, to the exact food, not the exact food, excuse me, to the exact food category. Because, for instance, breakfast is a protein, a fruit, and a grain. So you decide, what protein do I want? Do I want eggs today? Do I want some sort of cheese? Do I want peanut butter? Do I want sausage? And then, fruit and a grain. You pop that in. What fruit do I want today? What grain do I want today? Do I want rice? Do I want rice cake? Do I want oats? Do I want potatoes? And then lunch, protein, fruit, fat, and vegetable. Okay, so you can pop those in. Does the plan work with intermittent fasting? Absolutely. I love intermittent fasting. I think it's fantastic. Some people like to fast like a 16-8. So they fast 16 hours, eat 8 hours. Some people want to fast 10 hours and eat over a 14-hour window. Perfectly fine. However, you want to do that is great. There is no right or wrong. I've gone windows where I'll do a 2 meal a day plan because I want to have a longer fasting window. And that's great. Absolutely. Does this plan avoid substitutes like stevia as well? Yes, we do. We avoid all sugar, processed sugar, and artificial sweeteners because even stevia can raise our blood sugar. Even stevia can put us in a position where our body thinks we're getting a hit of sugar and we don't. So then it starts demanding it louder. Even stevia keeps that sweet taste alive and those fireworks in our brain. So that is for even honey, dates. There's certain things that have such a high sweet content that I think many of us can attest to the fact that maybe we even have made a sweet dessert, but it is natural. It has honey, maybe peanut butter, maybe cocoa, things like that. And we've still eaten too much because that sweet taste lights up our brain and says, hello, let's go for more. So, yes. I don't have Facebook. Would that be a problem? No, that's okay. We do some of the communication on Facebook, but our groups meet on Zoom. So we can get together on Zoom. And specifically, you'll have a Zoom link. So that's okay if you're not on Facebook. If you're on a self-paced, that's okay. You don't have to have Facebook. Same thing with the small group or coaching. You do not have to have Facebook. A lot of people like to have Facebook, and so they even create like a fake name for the purpose of being able to see the activity in the group. All right. We're having family dinner, so I may have missed this, but have the plans and portions been reviewed by a medical professional or licensed dietitian? Yes. Yes, the food plan we use is a highly successful food plan. It has been around for, well, 70 years, and it's just super successful because it gets food in its rightful place. It's not just a diet. Let's try and do this, or just one cookie, or count these calories. It's laying out the things that will keep us sustained from morning to night, keep our blood sugar steady. All right, I get stuck in detox. I can't make it more than 3 to 4 days without giving in advice. Yes, you need the support. Truly. I mean, that's the advice, because when we do something on our own, we're only accountable to ourselves. And unfortunately, we've broken a lot of promises to ourselves. I'm speaking for myself. I don't know. Have any of you broken promises to yourself? Yeah. So there is something to be said about a 60-day commitment together to get to the heart of the matter. Typically, detox is over by day 5, typically. So once you get past that, the physical cravings are gone. There's emotional cravings that can take a lifetime, right? If we've been doing something a certain way, every holiday we've had this exact food for 50 years, we're going to be emotionally craving that. And we walk through all the process of how to deal with those cravings and how to work through that and how to talk to people and how to advocate to ourselves and how to defeat the enemy and how not to grieve the Holy Spirit. This is a comprehensive study of what God says He wants us to do and how to surrender to Him, along with the food. All right. Second question. Could you share the non-weight loss victories you personally experienced from avoiding sugar and flour after the detox period, of course? Skin, blood work, feeling, inspire us. Here we go. Are you ready? I have so many non-scale victories of my skin, right? No breakouts, anything like that. I used to be in the sugar and eating a lot of processed sugar, and my skin was kind of blotchy. I think I'll have pretty good skin. I'm getting older, so of course it's going to change. That's just life. Massive amount of energy, massive. All my blood work down. In fact, let me tell you, I got to tell you about Teresa. She's one of our surrender sisters in the program. She had her blood work at 11.1, her A1C, excuse me. Her A1C was 11.1. She did the 60-day surrender and she went back after that because the doctor said, this is bad. We've got to do something. She said, please, I got to have one last try. So she did a last ditch effort. I'm doing this. 60 days later, it was 5.9. 60 days. Our bodies love when we let go of that processed food. So energy is through the roof. Of course, sitting in smaller chairs, not being afraid I'm going to break every chair I sit in. That's a common one for those of us who have been very big is this chair going to break, right? Um, wearing belts, wearing, not having to have extenders on an airplane, just fitting comfortably, sitting next to someone at church. All those things are incredible. My hair is in better condition. I love shopping for dresses now. I didn't wear dresses before. Now I do. Cute shoes. So many things that come by having non-scale, by losing the weight, by breaking free, losing the weight, then the non-scale victories. One of my favorites was my husband was giving my kids piggyback rides years ago. It's about 5 years ago. And he's like, come on, mommy, get on my back. And I was like, no, I'll break you. And then he's like, you're fine, get on my back. And it was just fine. But I, for years, avoided anything like that. I'm not going to have somebody feeling my weight. But I was able to do that. And my kids were taking pictures and it was so fun. And I thought, wow, what a neat, sweet connection. When we get rid of this burden, then this physical burden falls off. We lose the weight and life just opens up. Can we drink coffee? Yes, please. I love coffee. I drink it black or a cinnamon stick. Drop a cinnamon stick in and it takes off the bitterness, adds a touch of sweetness and a splash of milk. You can use a little bit of your morning protein or evening protein, a little bit of milk in your coffee just to kind of take that edge off if you feel like you need that. But I've gotten to the point where I drink it black and I love it. But yes, coffee's great. Can you share what sign up bonus is again? What's the deadline? So everyone that signs up gets the bonus, all the bonuses. There's like 4 bonuses: weight loss trackers, the 2-week meal plan, the eating guide, the meal planning template, and the restaurant guide. But if you sign up by Friday night, just kind of a fast action bonus, because we do fill up, our groups are likely to fill up each time, you get, okay, ready? We decided, let's just do it. Let's just do it. I was super excited about it. A full week of one-to-one coaching with me that we can talk together, walk together for a week through the Voxer app and connect and answer any questions you have and just kind of walk alongside you that first week or whenever you feel you would like that week. That is, you get that, and it's by Friday the 16th at midnight in 2 days. And then also in the mail, a free food journal. Okay, this is a food journal that I created. It's probably going to be backwards, isn't it? But that's okay. Where you can write all your food. You can write the date, your water, your feelings, your thoughts, what you're thankful for. Exercise. Were you compliant? Did you eat what you had planned? And then keeping track of your weight. A pack of stickers that can go on water bottles, computer, tablets, phones, whatever. And a Life Unbinged pen that says, taste and see that the Lord is good. Blessed is the one who takes refuge in him. So those are the extra bonuses if you sign up by Friday night. What happens after the 60 days? Do you recommend taking a multivitamin? Thanks for all you do. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. I'm so honored and humbled. I am so honored and humbled. After the 60 days, you still have the Facebook group long term. That is yours. We still have that connection there. And we still have live monthly coaching with me that I set up, that we get together, that we do have a membership group for those who, it's a very small amount, but for those who say, I I want more support. And then we meet multiple times a week. But that's after the 60 days, an option, anyone that wants that. I do recommend taking a multivitamin. I think it's great. I like to take, I go in seasons. We all do probably of multivitamin, but D, C, and magnesium. Those are the three I like to take. But talk to your doctor or do a little bit of research and see what you like best. But I think a multivitamin is great. Are any of the plans offering a monthly division of the price? Yes, the middle plan, the plus, which is the small group, you can get started as low as $97. And then it's this 6 payments of $97, or it's the one payment. How do you know what your goal weight should be? We walk through that together. We have a whole section to talk about what does maintenance look like and how do we choose a goal weight. And that goal weight can be, we have to, let's be honest here, we have to surrender the number on the scale also, because many of us have a weight that gets stuck in our head. Maybe it's a high school number that we weighed in high school. Maybe it was when we got married. Maybe it was before we had kids. Things change. Our body changes, and we have to be willing to say, okay, Lord, what would the weight on the scale you want it to be? And so that is part of the process, part of the 60 days. Not everybody gets to their maintenance weight in 60 days, of course, but you definitely make a big, 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 big dent in it. And some do. And then we talk about that and we walk through what our maintenance weight, what is our happy weight? What is the weight our body feels comfortable at? What is the weight we feel strong at? And then we pick a range. Because if we pick one number, that's tricky. We have to pick a range because as women, our body weight fluctuates. Men's probably do too, but I don't know, they care about it or weigh as much as we do as often. But we have monthly cycles or lack of monthly cycles, or if we ate, soy sauce the night before, there's going to be fluctuations. So we pick a weight range to stay within. Can you please share what happened to your skin as you lost that amount of weight? Have you had it surgically removed or another procedure? Thank you for being vulnerable. You're welcome, and thank you. I have not had skin surgery removal. I have a lot of skin that hangs from my arms, and consequently, I wear 3/4 sleeves all the time because I don't want my arms flapping. I do have loose skin on my stomach. I have worked with a lot of women who have had skin removal surgery after they've lost the weight, but I always say wait 1 year because a lot of times our skin tightens up and then we don't need it. We just kind of get used to it. It's fine. We have clothes. It's just fine. When I think about what I used to look like, I'm not worried about the saggy skin. All right. Do the groups always meet on Thursdays or is it just this 60-day surrender? We meet on Thursdays, typically in general. We have had other meeting nights. We've have Wednesday meeting nights before. But right now we have Thursday morning and Thursday evening, possibly Thursday afternoon. And then, did you fix yourself a meal or is it for the whole family with your program? I'm looking right here to see if I have any more questions. Hang on one second. All right. Here we go. Okay. Okay, this is what I did, and I have several YouTube videos, and I plan to make more of this. I would make one meal for my family, and I would have a small modification for myself. And that could be tacos for my family, right? We have the meat, we have tomatoes, we have lettuce, there's some beans, there's some cheese. I can eat all that. Just weigh and measure it in my portions. And I put it in a lettuce wrap, or I put it on a salad for a taco salad. Or if we're having burgers, totally fine. We make burgers. I don't want to make a separate meal for myself. I don't want my kids to think oh yeah, mom doesn't eat this way. I eat the same way, but I have a slight modification. I don't have a bun if I'm having a hamburger. So I might have, I have had it on Ezekiel toast before, Ezekiel bread, and that is a sprouted wheat bread. So there is no flour, and that's perfectly compliant. So I just have a modification. I don't believe in cooking differently for every single person in your house. I'm not going to do it. I want to cook one meal, serve one meal, and enjoy a meal together with my family. Just a slight modification for me. Um, okay. There we go. All right. So encouraged to see how the Lord has given you this ministry after your obedience and surrender. Proud of you, sister. Thank you for the sacrifices you make to minister to others. Bless you. I appreciate that so much. There is a lot of sacrifices. There is a lot of time I spend away from my family, sharing and teaching and dealing hope because I felt so hopeless, and it's a gift. I'm humbled. I'm honored to be able to share, to be able to walk alongside women in the same position because I've done it. I know it. And Catherine and Carrie Ann are the coaches, and they've done it as well. So thank you. Okay, let me just check right here. I have some questions right here. Okay. This is an answer to prayer. Oh, I love this. It says this is an answer to prayer. I just happened to learn about and get on the webinar 4 minutes before it started. Yay! I am glad you're here. I'm glad you're here. We want to break free from that weight loss roller coaster. We don't want to be stuck on that anymore. And so we can start defeating those lies and speaking truth into our life. Any other questions? Catherine, Carrie Ann, do you see any other questions that I have missed? Do I need to go to the chat? I want to make sure I answer all your questions. If you are here watching live or you're watching the replay and you still have a question, reach out to me. Reach out and I will answer your question right on our page, lifeunbinged.com. You will see the 60-day surrender. I'm assuming that link was in the chat. For some reason, I can't see the chat. I see the Q&A box, which was more important. But lifeunbinged.com, and you will see the 60-day surrender. And you will be able to sign up and get all the bonuses and all the extra bonuses if you sign up by Friday. More importantly, you are going to embark on the transformation of a lifetime, because it is not just a body transformation. It is not just a transformation of what you're eating or what clothing size you wear. It is a transformation of your heart and allowing God to lead your weight loss journey and your weight and the numbers on the scale and your maintenance and this struggle that you have probably had for far too long. I had it for far too long. So get your spot. I will see you on the inside, and I'm super, super excited for this next group coming up. So I hope you have a fantastic evening. And if you have any questions, please make sure and reach out to me. All right, see you soon.